So here we have another quadratic factor, or rather a quadratic equation that we want to change from a subtraction problem into a multiplication problem. So like always, the first thing we look for are common factors. Does 6 and 15 and 21 have something in common as a multiplier? Yes. Of course they does, and the answer is 3. So we factor out the 3, in other words, we pull it outside, and we make it multiplication. So 3 times, well, that would be a 2x squared minus 5x and a minus 7. Okay, which of course, if we were to remultiply this in here, if we were to distribute, you would have to get what you started with. So make sure that you are dividing correctly. So now that we're done with our common factor, we have this quadratic to factor. Okay, so I'm going to make my x, because this is the way I like to factor. But I noticed something strange here, and that's there's a number in front of x squared. So what we do, I guess is really called the AC method, is we multiply those two things together, the box 2 and the box, and get negative 14. Okay, this is how we handle a quadratic factor with a number in front of x squared, okay, a coefficient greater than 1. On the bottom still goes the number in the middle, in this case negative 5. The signs are important. If there's a negative in front of the number, you keep the negative in your problem. So now the question becomes, what numbers multiply to give you negative 14 and add to give negative 5? And hopefully you know those are negative 7 and positive 2. Now, not so fast, not so fast. Okay, remember, we had to multiply by 2 to get our top number. So when we're going to get our factors, we have to divide by 2. Okay, you can't just multiply by 2 and leave it like that and have those be your factors, because of course that doesn't actually work. So when we have a coefficient and you multiply to get the number on top, you have to divide to get out. So the question becomes, does 2 divide negative 7? And the answer is no. It will, of course, be a decimal, and we don't like decimals in our factors. So the 2 becomes a coefficient of x, and the minus 7 stays as your other number in your binomial factor. Okay, if it doesn't divide, the number on bottom becomes your coefficient, and the number on top is the other one. So then the other one, does 2 divide 2? Yes, it does. So now, because it divides, we have a factor of no coefficient x, and then plus 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we can, of course, check. We can check this. 2x times x is 2x squared. There's positive 2x and minus 7x, which gives us a minus 5x, and minus 7 and 1 is 7. So yes, these are in fact the correct factorization of that. And we still have the 3 out front to give you the total factorization for that quadratic.